What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our card review. We are on the neutral cards now. I am CONCERNEDMOM
I'm DannyDonuts.
And I'm slizzle466.
Alrighty, and we're going to jump right into the neutral cards here. First, we have Swamp Dragon Egg. This is a 1-mana 0/3 Death Rattle. Add a random dragon to your hand. Now, you guys think this kind of RNG fiesta we're looking to see in Wild right now?
I think for this specific card, you're going out of your way to buff it, and then potentially getting a very mediocre card, since most dragons are not very good.
Yeah, they're very expensive. Don't do a lot of the times. Like, you can get some
The
cool
mid-range
stuff.
ones are, like, some of the new mid-range ones are meh. So, I don't know.
You're gonna draw dead a lot with this card. Plus, it's a 0/3 for 1. They even like buffed its health, so it made it harder for you to kill it. Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Why do Dragon Eggs have to be so tough? But yeah, we're not gonna see this card in Wild at all.
No.
Next, we're looking at Swamp Leech. This is a disgusting looking card, by the way. Yeah, just absolutely gross. 2/1 Beast for 1 with Lifesteal. It's got the Beast tag and it's neutral, boys. Other than that,
I like seeing this off of Deathstalker Rexar. This now adds lifesteal to
yeah.
like a cheap,
a very cheap way to gain
lifesteal.
Lifesteal. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Rexar buff for sure. That's what I want to see it for anyway.
Yeah, I don't think you'd play it standalone in your deck.
No, definitely not Wild even.
Yeah.
Especially. Next we've got Lost Spirit. This is a 1/1 for 2. Death Rattle, give your minions +1 attack. Kind of a cool ability to have on a Death Rattle. Kind of hard to abuse, I think, though.
I think you could play this in Egg Hunter. Like, if you're in Egg Hunter, you're normally playing that 3-mana 2/2, give your minions +1/+1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is just a 1-mana cheaper, and you really only care about the +1 attack on that, so you can kill off your eggs. So
Yeah.
this is like a 1-mana cheaper alternative to that. So I don't mind playing, and it's easier to kill. Like, you can kill this by running this off into anything. You can't, like, make a value trade with it. So I'm happy with this card in Egg Hunter.
Yeah. The card could have a home then, actually, surprisingly, as opposed to many of the smaller minions in the set.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see it around, though. Next, we've got Spell Shifter in both of its forms. It is either a 1-mana, or sorry, either a 2-mana 1/4 with spell damage +1, or a 2-mana 4/1 with spell damage +1. Both of which are cards we've actually seen before, I thought.
Dalaran Mate is 3 mana, I think. He's crying in the corner right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think this card, like, they've put in so many 2-drops with spell damage, I don't think this card makes the cut.
No.
Since the other
I'm
ones already
playing
don't.
Blood Mage Thalnos every time.
Yeah, we're always just playing Thalnos. Next we got Vicious Scale. Oh, sorry. Next we got Vicious Scalehide. It is a 1/3 beast for 2 with Lifesteal and Rush.
I think this card is actually pretty good. Like, I could see this in Hunter with the Rush ability.
Yeah, I can. Like, if anyone's gonna use it well, it's absolutely Hunter, and I think it's possible.
Maybe
I don't think it'll.
It's cool to get a buff, right? If you're able to buff the attack, maybe in Paladin with this. Like, you do have the Divine Shield synergy with that legendary. I know that's a bit of a tangent. It's not. Yeah, that's a little crazy thought, but Lifesteal and Rush together are 2 really good keywords.
Yeah,
that's true.
And again, I'm sure DK Rexar is very happy about this card.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
wow!
man.
Yeah. They really want to make Rexar work with this one, don't they? Next we've got Blackwalled Pixie. 3 mana, 3/4, Battlecry, refresh your hero power.
I think this card's pretty solid. I mean, you've got premium stats, and I would play it on turn 3.
Isn't Beardo usually just better?
I think that Beardo probably is.
Beardo gives you what is
whenever you cast a spell, refresh your hero power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think this is the standard alternative to Beardo now that Beardo's rotating.
Oh, I think that.
Oh, right.
I think that you don't really ever want to just like hero power Blackwalled Pixie hero power. because it seems very weak for 7 mana. So I feel like the only reason you would want to refresh your hero power effect is like for abusable situations, similar to like
maybe if you're running like Odd Hunter, like you're playing Baku, like that's 6 damage to face. That's okay. It's not good. It's okay.
It's still very expensive for that ability.
I think this card is optimal with an upgraded hero power or a reduced cost hero power, but
even in those situations, it feels mediocre. I think you're just like for hero power abuse, you're always just gonna want Beardo instead. So yeah, it's probably not a card we'll see often, especially in Wild. Next, we've got Hench Clan Thug. Now, this is a 3/3 for 3. After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1. I've seen a lot of hype around this card, actually.
I'm calling this card Bebop, I've decided. Looks exactly like Bebop and Ninja Turtles.
I think it's playable for standard. All the hype I've seen on this card. No, this is a neutral. Or, sorry. No, I apologize. I see what you're saying. Yeah. In Rogue, maybe some sort of aggressive druid, but yeah, most likely just Rogue.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's more applicable in standard. I don't think in Wild this card's gonna be like insane by any means, because I think if there is a tempo Rogue deck, it's gonna be a Ship's Cannon deck. But yeah, I don't know if we'll see this card in Wild, but it is a very powerful effect that we're gonna see in standard, I think. We'll see if it actually makes a splash in Wild. I doubt it, but it's always possible. Next, we've got Marsh Drake. Big stats on this one. 3 mana for a 5/4 dragon. Neutral. Battlecry, summon a 2/1 poisonous Drake Slayer for your opponent.
So, I like this card. I think that this might actually support Dragon Paladin.
Like an aggressive form?
Yeah, an aggressive form of Paladin, because you'll typically go in Paladin and have a recruit on the board. And then, so this helps support the 2/2 with Divine Shield and Taunt, and you can typically kill off a Drake Slayer really easily in Paladin.
Yeah,
so,
if you think about it, on curve, like say in Egg Paladin or like some sort of aggressive Paladin deck, you're very rarely actually going to not be able to kill a 2/1 that you put on the board. The problem is it makes it so you have to put other resources into this card, but it might be worth it for a 5/4 for 3 because it's a very powerful stat line.
It could also be really good with a tempo Dragon Priest, where you play your Marsh Drake on turn 4 and then Potion of Madness, the poisonous, and take out a guy.
That's spicy.
That's a pretty strong turn.
Yeah, I think we could actually see this card around in various situations. It'll be interesting. I like the card, actually. Honestly, the design's pretty cool. Next, we've got Pumpkin Peasant. This is a 3 mana lifesteal minion that is either a 2/4 or a 4/2, depending on how many turns it's been in your hand. I don't think this card will see any play in Wild in the slightest. 2/4, 4/2, lifesteal doesn't matter. It's too weak. Stat line, real bad. No tags, no extra abilities. Not a card.
I think this is just the vanilla card to showcase the flipping that they used at the start of the expansion. So typically what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, what cards will take advantage of this? They don't give you the best one to start off.
Yeah, they're going to kind of just bait you with a mediocre one. So next we have Ravencaller. 3 mana for a 2/1. Battlecry, add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand.
More support for the Hunter quest.
Yeah, I when I first originally read this card, I didn't think it was random. I thought it was just a tutor for 2 1-cost minions, which would be a very interesting effect. But yeah, that's not. It is 2 random 1-cost minions. So
1-cost minions typically are pretty good, though. Just generally, getting a random one might not synergize well with your game plan, but they're typically some of the best statted cards for their mana cost, proportionally.
Yeah, we there's some options to get off of it. I don't think this will be any card that would see play outside of a Quest Hunter deck. I don't think.
Yeah, that's specifically where you're going to see it.
But it'd be interesting to see it played there if that becomes an archetype.
You think you'd ever see this card played in a Paladin deck with Suit of Darkshire, potentially? Just to get all the... I mean, you get the Divine Shield off this, and there's a good chance the 1-cost minions would get the Divine Shield as well.
It's possible, but it seems a little slow in that deck, and just strictly worse than the other options it has as a wild deck.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll fit there, but maybe it'll find a home in the Quest Hunter. Tanglefur Mystic is next. We've got a 3-mana, 3/4 Battlecry. Add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand.
That's a pretty cool design.
Yeah, it's a very interesting effect. 3 for 3/4 is kind of a normal stat line.
What is Spellslinger a 3/4 for Mage?
Yes,
it's the Mage.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like the Spellslinger, but not as extreme because Spellslinger was random spell from anywhere.
Yeah. You're not going to think it's as extreme until this guy gives your opponent a Doomsayer.
That's true.
I don't think this card will find a home in any wild deck, sadly. It is a cool design, though, for sure.
Yeah. Usually cards that give opponents things as well don't work out very well.
Hey, yeah. Generally,
unless you're playing a mill deck, you can now start putting cards.
Mulch is great. Yeah. Let's see. Next, we have Walnut Sprite. Just a very basic card. 3/3 Echo for 3. Sort of a card I feel like they're using to show off the Echo mechanic. Very basic. 9 mana, play 3 of them. 6 mana, play 2 of them. You know, that kind of thing.
Adorable art.
Yeah, the art's great. I don't think we're going to see this card anywhere, ever. So, no. Next, we've got Fellsoul Inquisitor. 1/6 Demon, Lifesteal, and Taunt.
This will be interesting to be one of those random demons you get.
Oh yeah, random demon nerf.
Yeah. I think that's mostly why it's there. It's interesting to see Lifesteal like paired with Taunt on a minion that's like a neutral card. You have Wicker Flame, Burn Bristle that has that, but like a neutral card that almost, unless you have Silence, will heal you up 2 or 3 points.
Yeah. Don't think this is a card we're ever gonna see in Constructed Wild, but yeah, it's a random demon, all right. Next we've got Swift Messenger. This is a 4 mana for a 2/6 with Brush, and each turn's in your hand, swap its attack and health. How valuable is a 6/2 Rush minion for 4? I think is the entire question about whether this card's good or not.
It's a neutral fireball.
Yeah,
only played on minion.
Yeah, only on minions though.
I think the card is decent, but it would be hard to justify running it in your deck as opposed to other 4-drops.
The issue too is you have to wait for it to be a 6/2. If it was a 4-mana 6/2 and it swapped, I think that's better because you have to wait. You can't just top deck it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you could think about Leroy as well. Leroy is always a 6/2 with charge. I feel like you would never want this card as a 2/6.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Yep, just strictly worse than a lot of the other options. Yep. There's the other half of it.
Oh, nice.
Next, we have Unpowered Steambot, a 0/9 taunt for 4. This is clearly the card we were looking for our opponents to Potion Madness and combo off. Yeah.
This is Lady in White quality.
Lady in White quality.
4 mana 9/9 taunt.
This is a solid card for that. I don't think we're gonna see it anywhere though. Nah. It's a mech. It's a mech though.
It's a Gorilla A3 nerf.
Oh man, that's bad.
Poor Gorilla Bot. Next we've got Clockwork Automaton. This is a card we hear a lot about from this set. Very interesting ability. 5 mana, 4/4 mech with a Velen ability. Double the damage and healing of your healing power or hero power. So it's not exactly Velen, but it does that for your hero power.
It's a pretty cool effect.
Yeah,
it's really interesting for a neutral card.
Yeah, very interesting for them to put that on a neutral card for sure.
This is interesting on turn 7 if you're playing Odd Hunter as like a top end, where it's like you already have your hero power dealing 3 damage, and now as long as this is out on the board, it's dealing 6.
Clockwork, shoot him for 6.
That's terrifying.
It's only 6, or it's what, 7 mana? Yeah, or is it? Yeah.
And I mean, you've already been chipping your opponent down. Like this is a good finisher. If this sticks for a turn or 2, like your opponent's dead. Odd
Baku Hunter. That's what we're looking out for. These cards. Next we've got Rotten Apple Bomb. 5 mana for a 4/5 taunt. Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero. So this is a card I feel like...
Real card.
Yeah, well, I feel like they printed it for standard, just like as another defensive option, because I'm sure plenty are rotating out. As far as wild goes, I'm not sure if this is better than any of the other options we already have available to us.
So it's comparable with like Sludge Belcher, right? Like, is it better or worse than Sludge Belcher, do you think? And I think that the 4 health is not as good as the 1/2 taunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because essentially that stops your opponent from having 2 attacks go in, and the 4 health really gets resolved a little bit there. But I think that in any deck where you'd want to be running 2 Sludge Belchers, specifically a Reno deck that runs N'Zoth, I think that this might be able to find a home there.
Yeah, basically it's just your last copy of Sludge Belcher, either your second copy in a Reno deck or a third copy in other decks, I think, for N'Zoth purposes. I don't think it's ever better than Sludge Belcher, really, though. And, there already aren't a ton of decks that want Sludge Belcher in Wild.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It could narrowly find a home, but it's something we'd have to see a meta flesh out first for. Next we've got Darkmire Moonkin, another Moonkin that's not a beast.
Come on,
yeah, I know. 2/8 for 7 mana plus 2 spell damage. Basically the new staple wild card. We're gonna see this in pretty much every deck.
I like that one. You said Evolved Kobold. How much does that cost? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you ever run this over Evolved Kobold?
Well, Kobolds is 4 actually.
4,
yeah,
even
4
more
for a 2/2.
Yeah. Even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this card we will not see ever. Goodbye.
Yeah, because you don't play it for the body.
Furious Etten, a 5/9 taunt for 7. Garbage.
Nice pack filler.
Yeah,
nice pack filler.
Yeah.
We'll see him around.
Pack filler.
Wormguard, 7 mana, Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt, and it is a 3/11.
Oh, it's not a dragon.
Yeah, it's not a dragon.
+1 attack and taunt. I mean, it's another card to add into Lady in White Priest.
Yeah.
You could Lady in...
Is 7 mana for an 11/11 even that good?
Not really.
Yeah.
With
not wild
taunt.
anyway, sorry.
Yeah. There's so many better things you can do on 7 mana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're probably not gonna see this card in any sort of dragon deck either. It's just not good enough ever. The 11 toughness is pretty good, but don't think it's gonna get there. Okay, now this guy here, 8 mana, 7/7 elemental. Your other elementals have +2 attack. King of the Elementals over here, boys.
That's a pretty beefy card for a neutral.
Mm-hmm.
The stats aren't terrible.
It's a big guy. Elemental Aggro Shaman coming down now. They've got their Lord effect and cost 8. It's great.
Yeah.
I think this card is not terrible. I think this card has some potential. Maybe not in Shaman because you've got Bloodlust, but maybe in an Elemental Mage as a finisher. But again,
in Mage, if you already have a full board, right, you pretty much already won.
Yeah, because that usually means you have Jaina down too.
Yeah. What about Elemental Priest? Priest has some elementals as well. Has Radiant Elementals.
There's that new 5/8 that can only attack if it's not damaged.
There you go.
Yep, perfect.
I wouldn't.
And you can play that 6 heal as well. 2 mana.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
New set's so good to Priest. Yeah, I doubt we'll see this card around, but maybe Slizzle's dreams will come true. Deranged Doctor, new Doctor 8. 8/8 for 8.
Oh,
Death Rattle, just restore 8 health to your hero.
Why would you ever run this over Healbot?
Why would you ever run this over anything?
I'm gonna play this with my Arcanine Soul Priest
Ooh,
in my Kill Yourself.
Spicy.
Kill Yourself deck.
Spicy. Alright, next we've got Phantom Militia. Now this card, 3 mana for a 2/4 minion with Echo and Taunt.
That is not bad.
It's not Sarnite Chain Gang, in my opinion.
I think it's the chain gang for any deck that is that's an odd deck. Once you cut off the card pool enough so that you can't run half of the things, this becomes better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I think that's the only place you'll ever see this in a deck that normally wants to run Serenite Chain Gang, but can't because it's an odd deck.
Very, very narrow application.
Yeah, six mana is so bad for what you get, though.
Yeah, it's just not really
nine mana, you may as well hit the concede button.
Yeah, if you're paying 9 mana for 3/2/4s with taunt, that's rough. You're in a rough spot. Yeah. Alright, so next we got Life Drinker. This is a 4 mana, 3/3 beast for Battle Cry. Deal 3 damage to the enemy hero and restore 3 to your own. 3 health. So, it's interesting. The design's cool.
Is this power creep of a Night Stalker?
Yeah, I think so. Night Stalker's finally outclassed, boys. R.I.P.
Night Stalker's a 4/4 though, right?
Ooh, good call. Yeah, Night Stalker's clearly still better.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will not see this card.
This is interesting. You might see this off of Rexar for that last burst or some heal. Like, this is a Rexar.
Yeah, it is actually a 3/3 beast with that shoots for 3 when it comes into play.
Yeah, I like this as an option off of Rexar. This is going to be the second one, obviously, because there's the card text. So if you need some emergency healing or your opponent's like right out of range of killing them, this will be pretty good. So
well, okay, consider if like Face Hunter were actually a deck again. Do you think as a 3/3 for 4 that shoots for 3, it would be playable?
So you're already playing Wolf Rider, right? Wolf Rider's a 3 mana, deal 3.
Yeah,
so
this would be like more copies almost of that.
Yeah.
Kind of. I doubt. It wouldn't see playing Wild. Wild's got so many better options as far as damage goes.
I think this card is too slow for a Face Hunter, because usually in a Face Hunter,
yeah, in standard
you don't have anything
maybe
above 3 mana.
But in standard maybe some sort of aggressive list, but
yeah,
not good enough here. Let's see. Next we have Mad Hatter. This is 4 mana for a 3/2 with Battle Cry. Randomly toss 3 hats to other minions. Each hat gives +1/+1.
This could be your opponent's minions.
Reverse Hat Bomber.
Yeah, this is a design at its finest.
I really want to see the animation for this card. That's the main reason I would ever want to put it in my deck.
Gold one only, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, this is a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm. Team 5 got back from Burning Man. They were like, let's make Mad Hatter. All right. Next, we've got Night Prowler. 4 mana for a 3/3 beast. We have a trend going here. Battle Cry. This is the only minion in the battlefield? In the battlefield. Gain +3/+3.
On the battlefield?
It should be on, I believe, but...
Yeah, it should be on, right?
Yeah. This is the only minion inside of the battlefield. Gain +3/+3.
I don't think that matters because we're not going to see it.
No, yeah, we'll never know after this.
They could have at least given it +4/+4 for the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. No, never lucky. Next we've got Scale Worm. 4 mana for a 4/4 beast with Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and rush.
So this is clearly designed for Hunter.
Not necessarily.
In the Beast Dragon archetype.
The Beast Dragon archetype. That new fearsome monster of a deck.
See, I think this could be a good mid-range, like, Menagerie Warrior deck card. Like, you're already running the 3... Like, you're running Curator, you run the Monkey Dude, who's the 3 attack...
Fierce Monkey.
Yeah, Fierce Monkey, yeah. You're running him, you're running Alex Strauss's Champion with all the dragons. This is fairly good. This is like Alex Strauss's Champions.
I think any deck with enough dragons is going to run this card. Stat-wise, it's just not too bad, especially if it gets rush. So, like, if you have enough dragons... Yeah, if you have enough dragons, you're running this card, I feel like. Yeah, it's... For Wild, it's a little weak, though, in particular. Yeah, it feels like a lot of the cards in this set are just geared towards like a new standard format they're trying to cultivate, and so we as wild players, it's a little rougher for us.
How good is this compared to Blackwing Corruptor? Is Blackwing Corruptor 5?
Yeah, Corruptor's 5.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, for 4 mana, this is good then.
Yeah, it's a good card. Next we've got Witchwood Piper. 4 mana for a 3/3. Battle Cry. Draw the lowest cost minion from your deck. Now this is a straight up tutor effect, kind of, and those are always powerful and have to be analyzed to see what you can do.
I can't wait until the lowest cost minion in my deck is Malaghost.
I can't wait till the lowest cost minion in my deck's the other Witchwood Piper that I'm gonna draw.
Why are you running 2 of them?
Oh, why not? You draw the other one, it's a free cycle. Yeah, I think the card is abusable.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what better deck builders than I can do with it.
Also, Grammar Police, the cost should have a lowercase c. Just
wow. Blizzard, who's making these cards, Blizzard?
Yeah, QA, what are you doing?
Yeah, in the battlefield, capital cost? What? Man. Oh well, very interesting card. Can't wait to see this one busted. Next we've got Chief Inspector.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my game in high school. 5 mana, 4/6. Battle Cry, destroy all enemy secrets. That's a card. All right.
I actually
is this anything different than Eater of Secrets?
I think
it's
bigger.
bigger.
I think it's better. I think it's better, in my opinion. And
really?
My rationale is, the worst thing about Eater of Secrets is when you're playing it against a non-secret class, playing a 4 mana 2/4 sucks. Whereas here, a 5 mana 4/6 is not that bad.
Are you some sort of arena player? 5 mana 4/6 feels pretty bad.
I'm just in comparison to a 4 mana 2/4.
Yeah. In Wild, I don't think this is ever going to see play. I think you just rather have like Keys and Mystic most of the time.
This is Paladin, right? Paladin's the one where you're really concerned about this.
You'd rather have Eater. You'd rather have Eater against Paladin.
Yeah, because it comes out earlier.
It comes out earlier and it gets bigger than this against Paladin. Because Paladin has so many 1-drop secrets, like they're easily going to have 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think this was just printed because Eater rotates this expansion.
Yeah.
For this rotation, so they need to have some sort of
something in standard like that. Yeah. So it's not abusable. But yeah, this card we will probably not see in a while. Next we have Witchwood Grizzly. Now this card, 5 mana, 3/12 beast, taunt, battle cry. Lose 1 health for each card in your opponent's hand.
So best case scenario, you've got a 3/12. Worst case, a 3/2 if your opponent's going to mill themselves.
Now, the way it's worded, it almost sounds like you lose health for each card in your opponent's hand. I believe it's the Grizzly that loses health, though.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that this card could be very interesting with that Witching Hour card that was spoiled.
Yeah.
Also Hadronox.
Oh, this is great off the Hadronox. I think this is a good anti-aggro card.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, I think it'll be a pretty good anti-aggro card.
Well, yeah, but in what decks is this better than a Sludge Belcher? Because
3/12 with taunt.
3/12 is a lot.
I think it more matters what your opponent's playing than what you're playing as to whether it's better than Sludge Belcher.
If you're playing a pirate, if your opponent's a pirate warrior and you slam this down on turn 5, that's huge.
They also, they're also running double Spellbreaker because of the meta. So
exactly.
You'd rather have this guy get Spellbreaker than a Sludge Belcher.
Wait, no,
I think this card can see play.
Yeah, I was gonna say Spellbreaker. Would Spellbreaker heal it?
No. The damage is just dealt. It's not an ongoing effect on it.
It says lose 1 health. No, but lose 1 health for each card in your opponent's hand. So if you played it as like a 3/4 and silenced it,
I'm pretty sure it's just
3/12 without taunt.
I'm pretty sure it's just a damaged minion and not a lasting effect. Although I have never actually seen the card in game, so I couldn't.
So like the injured. Oh no, you're right, because the injured Blade Master doesn't heal up when you silence it. Yeah.
It's gonna suck when you pull this out with Dirty Rat.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Please
Oh.
don't. New Malygos tech. You just play those so they get pulled out instead. Easy. Alright, let's see. Next we have Gilnean Royal Guard. This is an 8 mana, 3/8 Divine Shield and Rush, and swap its health and attack each turn it's in your hand.
That is just too expensive for what it does.
Yeah, not near good enough at all, especially for Wild. I don't even think the card will see playing Standard.
Yeah, and the big thing too is that the 8 attack is second.
Not
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the bigger attack's always second, which just makes those cards even worse. Baleful Banker, 2 mana, 2/2, Battlecry. Choose a friendly minion and shuffle a copy of it into your hand.
Deck.
So this is a neutral
Deck. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, in a neutral Manic Soulcaster.
Yep.
So, I think it has potential.
It's a lot of combos here.
Yeah, it's a very powerful ability, like abstractly, and putting it on a neutral card is even better.
Yeah, a lot of value decks would want to run a Manic Soulcaster. Like you might even see this in like a Q-Lock list.
Yeah.
I mean that's a bit far, but like if you can put this on like a Void Caller or not a Void Caller, like a Void Lord or maybe a Doom Guard or something, and put something in your deck to give you a little bit more oomph later on.
Oh, this will be good. You can play this and Manic Soulcaster in a Reno Mage now.
Oh man.
You're not running Manic Soulcaster as is in Reno Mage.
I'm just like, do you start if you have this many effects like that though? Like the more effects like this you have, the better I feel like it becomes.
The better it is. Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
But with Reno Mage, you got Echo of Medivh, which is gets the card in your hand a lot faster.
But
yeah.
Now you have the thing that can cycle through your deck a little bit faster with the book. I don't know the name of it, but the spell that draws you 3 cards. Yeah, and then you have the Archmage there too. So maybe now you have enough support for something like this.
Yeah, just all copy Minion Mage. Just like turbo copy Reno Minion Mage. Easy.
Yeah.
Also, this was Shadowcaster and Rogue. Could be pretty crazy.
Yeah. If only it was in your hand. If only it was just a 2 mana neutral Zola for everybody. That'd be great. All right, so let's see. Next we have Nightmare Amalgam, 3/4 for 3, all. This is an elemental, mech, demon, murloc, dragon, beast, pirate, and totem. And boy, is it a nightmare to look at.
So basically, we never play Spider Tank ever again.
Exactly.
No, your Spider Tank cannot dodge the Galactica crawlers.
Yep, hungry crabs. Hungry crabs aren't killing your Spider Tank, Slizzle. So think again.
Oh, you guys shouldn't have told me that.
Yeah.
It could have happened on stream.
Oh man, I could have done it to him on stream. I
think this low key though has a little bit more potential than people are expecting.
Really?
Because of dragons. Dragons are the one main thing where it's really hard to have a cheap dragon that is like a good card, and a 3-mana dragon is good enough in my mind, especially if you're playing a Menagerie deck.
Yeah, because you see people play fairy dragons just for a cheap dragon, and this is better than that, I feel like. For sure. So, yeah, like Danny said, in a dragon deck, I could seeing some play. Next we have a card I'm also excited for, Voodoo Doll. 3 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, choose a minion, Death Rattle, destroy the chosen minion.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, neutral removal for everybody. I think this card's gonna see a lot of play, even in Wild.
Yeah, it'll be good removal for Druid, and I mean you have Naturalize in Druid, but like something that might not want to go and get your opponent cards.
It's actually bad in the Zoth decks though.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah. I think this card has a lot of potential.
Voodoo
It
Doll.
doesn't necessarily have to kill your opponent's minion, right? You can use this to kill your own stuff if you want good effects off of that.
Voodoo Doll with Bran.
So you choose 2 minions?
Mhm.
Oh, that's
No,
really interesting.
I don't think you can choose. You can't choose 2 different minions though. Doesn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would just repeat
Just-
that. Choose a minion, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, it would choose the same one twice. So it wouldn't do
Yeah.
anything.
It would double kill that minion.
Yeah, I just wanted that minion really dead. I wanted everyone to know that I wanted that minion dead too. So I'm gonna double Voodoo Doll it. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think this card will see a lot of play though. Honestly, hopefully. Anyway, I know it will in Standard. I think we'll see it in Wild though. Next we've got Witch's Cauldron. 3 mana, 0/4. After a friendly minion dies, add a random shaman spell to your hand. So you get the Hagatha hero power without having to play Hagatha, and it's neutral.
So now neutral. Cards. We've got the one that does the random shaman, and there's also the one that does the random paladin card, Grand Crusader.
Oh yeah,
So now everyone can be a paladin and a shaman.
Oh wow, I'm excited to welcome my new class friends.
When having random shaman spells would be beneficial in another class.
Not really, because they're random.
And and a lot of them are totem synergy,
Mm-hmm.
which really hurts.
Yeah. There's just not a lot of situations where you actually want random shaman spells. Maybe if it was random mage spells, I'd give it a shot, but random shaman spells, I don't think that card's doing much for us. Next we've got Sandbinder. 4 mana, 2/4, Battlecry. Draw an elemental from your deck.
I mean, neutral cards that draw things are usually pretty good. There's a reason Asia Drake got banished from Standard.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there any particular elementals you'd be okay with running just that elemental and then run this for the particular reason just to tutor it?
The only thing I can think of is like Lyra.
Yeah, like, so as far as important elementals
Valakir.
in formats, you've got, like, Ragnaros, Lyra. Is that new Shutterwalk card an elemental?
I don't think it is.
No.
Okay.
There's the elemental that the new one, the 8 mana 8/8. It gives +2 attack to all your elementals.
Oh yeah, that one that you love a lot. Yeah, we could just draw that card. It sounds great. I don't see any situations where this is going to be great and wild, but I've been wrong before, so we could see. It's a tutor effect. So I'm curious as to whether it will be playable. Next, we've got Muck Hunter. 5 mana, 5/8 with Rush. Battlecry, summon 2/2/1 Mucklings for your opponent. Another one of the cards that gives your opponent's value, but it comes on a pretty nice sized body with Rush.
Yeah, the thing here is the previous card we saw with a similar ability, the 2/1 was poisonous, whereas these are just vanilla 2/1s. So basically, you're getting 2 extra health and Rush for giving your opponent 2/2/1s. So I can't judge very well if that is worth a value or not.
Yeah,
What are you getting?
I don't honestly think that, like, if we see a particular, like, Rush deck, this will be a good card on it.
I mean, that would typically be Warrior, right? It's going to be in Warrior, and I like the curve on this, at least, right? You play whatever the 4 attack weapon is that deals the Whirlwind when...
Blood Razor.
Yeah.
Blood Razor.
Yeah, you play Blood Razor or even Death Spite, and then you swing the first turn on turn 4, and then you play this, and then you Whirlwind after. So, like, I like the synergy with that. That's nice on curve. So
yeah, that's
and
fair.
things that are on curve are typically strong, but you have to be playing a dedicated Rush deck. And personally, I don't think that Rush is a strong enough mechanic at the moment to warrant like the mid-range Warrior deck to deviate from like a menagerie style.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I don't think unless we see like a dedicated Rush deck that this will be extremely playable. But it is a good card if that archetype does come around, for sure. Next we've got there's the Muckling. It's adorable. Look at him. Next we've got Mossy Horror. This is a card I like myself. 6 mana for a 2/7 Battle Cry. Destroy all other minions with 2 or less attack. So it Shadow Word Horrors the board for 6 mana on a 2/7 neutral minion. I really like that they're giving. Yeah, I really like they're giving this ability to neutral cards.
Yeah.
So we'll see. See how it goes. But I think this card is going to be pretty playable and wild, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we'll see it in different lists.
It's really strong.
It looks like the Monsters Inc. guy too.
Yeah.
So it's great.
It's not Sully.
Yeah. All right. So next we've got Worgen Abomination. 7 mana, 6/6. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other damaged minions.
All other damaged minions. Wow.
The minions have to be damaged though.
Yeah, it's.
If this was like Baron Geddon 2.0, I'd be cool with that, but I'm not super pumped about this.
Yeah, it's not an extremely powerful effect, especially the fact that like you said, it's just like Baron Geddon doesn't even see play, and it's not even as powerful as that. It seems like.
Yeah.
So not a card we'll see in Wild, I don't think.
No.
Splitting Fester Root is next. 8 mana, 4/4 Death Rattle. Summon 2 2/2 Splitting Saplings. These 2/2s, when they die, summon 2 1/1 Splitting Saplings.
I think this is a really cool design because we've never seen something with a triple Death Rattle before. But I think for 8 mana, it's just way overcosted.
Oh yeah, for 8 mana, it gets silenced and then destroyed as a 4/4.
Yeah.
This is something like off of like Discover effects that will be really good. It was like Discover a Death Rattle, and like you need something for value, or off of like the priest. This priest spell that summons a random like 8, 9, or 10.
Free from Amber.
Free from Amber.
Yeah, I think the card will be real good in Arena, but I think in Wild we're not gonna see this card ever, unless there's some like strange, unless like we see some like really abusive Coffin Crasher deck. Like other than that, I think this will not see much play in Wild. So next, there's the Splitting Sapling, the 2/2, and then here's the 1/1 Wood Chip. Adorable. Once again, all the tokens in set, great artwork. Now here we go, legendary neutrals, boys. Dollmaster Dorian, 5 mana, 2/6. When you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. So most of the comparisons I've noticed this card gets are Barnes comparisons.
This is what a fair Barnes is.
Yeah, this is like a fair Barnes basically. It's difficult, like it's a powerful effect, but it's difficult to find ways to outwardly abuse this card because it's whenever you draw a minion, and this is not a game where we have a lot of ways to manipulate the top of our deck. So
yeah, and especially if you think about this in Big Priest, the only way to draw lots of cards would be Cleric Circle, but you wouldn't run Cleric in Big Priest.
Exactly, yeah. Like, a lot of the times you would want this card are decks where you just actually can't run this card. So it's hampered by its own design a lot, but I think they wanted it to be that way because any other way I feel like it would be too powerful, and it would just be another version of Barnes for people to complain about. Hopefully we see something cool with this card, though. I doubt it, but hopefully. Maybe one day.
It's a very interesting design.
Very powerful ability, I think, like in the abstract. Next we've got Jen Greymane. 6 mana, 6/5. Start of game ability. This is a new kind of cycle of abilities. If your deck has only even cost cards, your starting hero power costs 1. Raza, boys.
Archetype defining.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think the thing that excites me the most about this card and the other one coming up for Odd is just the fact that we get essentially 18 new deck archetypes to explore. Are any of those 18 going to be good? I think it's really hard to evaluate, but it's definitely going to give players a lot of fun initially. I feel like just these cards existing are going to make ladder really fun for the first couple weeks.
Yeah, like Blizzard knows they're doing something right if out of 2 cards, each class gains 2 separate decks. Like, if you have a whole cycle of cards for every class, or sorry, not a whole cycle of cards, a whole cycle of decks, like 1 for every class with 1 card, and then another card is exactly that, like, you're in a really good spot there, because that's just a lot of stuff for people to work with.
I like one of the things about this too is that we have so many more cards in Wild that, like, consistency, we can build decks that are so much more consistent than in Standard if you're only using like 2 mana or like odd cards or even cards. So
yeah, I feel like the 2 start a game effects are definitely more usable in Wild.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you have the decks, and cutting out half of the cards is, like, for some of these cards are incredibly strong. So like there's both sides to that coin. Like, you're taking away the power level from really strong decks, and you're going to a deck that is hampered a little bit by that. So it really depends on what you lose specifically, as opposed to like what you can put in a deck, because you can make it like like odd paladin and stuff, but there's no real reason why you would want to do that. Because
exactly, yeah, like you can, but losing Called Arms would be a little much for paladin. It's just at that point, just put Called Arms back in, make it a different deck. So next is Azalina's Soul Thief. 7 mana for a 6/6. Battle Cry, replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's. Very interesting design.
Could be fun in Shaman. With could be interesting in Shaman.
Yeah.
So
I think not for the memes, not necessarily anything competitive.
Yeah, similar.
I think you could find a competitive dish for this, though.
Yeah, similar to what I was saying earlier with the Holy Water effect. Any effect like that could be, like, extremely powerful in some narrow either mirror match or control matchup situation down the line. Like, if you have 2 very slow decks that, like, have very specific win conditions, this card could just randomly, like, depending on how it works, just throw that completely off in a mirror or anything like that. Just because, you enable doing the same thing as them. So I think that it's a powerful effect, and it could see, like, very narrow play somewhere down the line.
I like it in the aggro versus control matchup. Typically, you're the aggro player, anything besides Paladin. So, like, aggro shaman, maybe even aggro mage, but that's a bit hopeful. But you're going through and you play a lot of your cards out. You get ahead on the board, and your opponent uses all their removal spells. The only cards that are going to be left in their hand are their big bombs. They're like 8 to 10 mana things. Maybe they have an Archmage Antonitis in their hand if they're Reno Mage or something like that. And you're completely out of the scheme at this point. So then you play Azalina Soul Thief, and then you get these, like, really high value cards that you can really just, like, inch out a win from that point. So I think that it has potential to do that.
There could be points where it's worth it to have this sort of option late game. At the same time, though, like, it's obviously making your deck way more inconsistent to play this card. So it's a toss-up just depending on the meta I think you're going to see at that situation. It's kind of a narrowish tech card, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. I'd be very interested to see this card, like, in actual, like, matchups down the line, like, if it's just really good in some sort of mirror or something like that. But this is one of those cards that, like, depending on the meta, could have a place or not.
It's also
such a powerful effect.
It's also really expensive. So
yeah, it's really expensive for a 3/3.
You're essentially passing your turn to play this card.
Yeah, that's another problem. It's so expensive, so you don't really get to use the cards you're gaining in your hand. So it's a little bit slow, but it could have a spot later. Next, we've got Countess Ashmore. 7 mana for a 6/6. Battle Cry, draw a Rush, a Lifesteal, a Death Rattle card from your deck. So, like, a Curator for Rush, Lifesteal, Death Rattle.
Yeah.
I think this card could be very abusable.
Especially because the Death Rattle and Lifesteal don't necessarily have to be minions.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
If you can tutor a weapon now with, like, the Death Rattle stuff in Warrior and in Rogue, The lifesteal stuff can also take weapons, can take spells.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is the only downside is that Curator, a lot of the time, you play that to fend off against aggro because of the taunt on 7 mana.
Exactly.
Whereas, I mean, the thing is that you are drawing a lifesteal card, so that does counteract it a little bit, because, like, you know that you're going to be able to play something that can do something related to lifesteal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's not the immediate effect of defending yourself.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of potential.
That'd be crazy. But no, I feel like it's a very abusable effect. Once again, tutor effects are always going to be super powerful no matter what you do. So, especially a very specific 3-version tutor like this is kind of nuts. That being said, it's another kind of slow card. In Wild, I think we're going to see this in some sort of control decks, though. For sure.
Sure.
Next, we have Baku the Moon Eater. This is a 9-mana 7/8 beast. Start of your game, if your deck only has odd cost cards, upgrade your hero power. And this is a Justicar upgrade. It's going to upgrade basics to their Justicar versions.
Yeah.
So,
I think
Warrior with tank up, everybody?
Here.
Warrior with tank up?
Baku's better than Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
I think this effect is just strictly better. The one thing that I have heard from people that is going to be a bit of an issue is that drawing this card is going to be like drawing patches in your deck. You don't want to draw this throughout this. Imagine you're playing like Baku Face Hunter. You're putting a 9 card in Face Hunter.
Oh yeah.
It's like that's one of the you will draw this card and you will be really pissed off.
It's another reason to play tracking though.
That's true.
It's if it's an odd and it cycles Baku out of your deck.
What interests me about both the even and the odd costs is I'm wondering if Blizzard kind of know from their internal testing that the odd cost decks might be a little bit better, because the Gen as a 6-mana 6/5, that's not too bad, but having this as a 9-mana 7/8 that doesn't do anything on the board is pretty awful.
I think they noticed that this must be like some sort of reasonably powered effect, and then they just like kept cranking the numbers on Baku higher and higher until they're like, yeah, no one wants this minion anymore, so now we can actually put this ability on it.
Yeah.
I could see that for sure. But yeah, this is one of the most interesting cards of the expansion. I think this one's really going to make an impact.
Yeah. I really appreciate it upgrading your hero power at the start of the game, so we don't have to deal with Keleseth shenanigans, where it's like, did I draw this at the start of the game, or did I win? As opposed to, now I can build my deck fundamentally around it.
Back in the day when Justicar was like the main source of doing this, it always felt really bad when your opponent had Justicar on 6 too. So it is nice that it's more consistent now. Also, like, Justicar is not even playable in Wild anymore. So the fact that, like, this is sort of like a power creep thing they're showing, that, like, to make this ability reasonable, they have to do it at the start of the game. Yeah, exactly. So, it'll be interesting seeing this card and how it's used, but it's got a lot of potential. And that is all of the Witchwood cards, boys. We finally made it through. Yep.
Yeah.
Really, really hope you enjoyed the card review, everybody. I am CONCERNEDMOMHS. I stream every night at twitch.tv/CONCERNEDMOMHS. Danny, where can we find you at?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on Twitch at DannyDonuts45. And Twitter, DannyDonuts_HS.
And Slizzle.
So I'm slizzle466. I stream mornings on Twitch Monday to Friday. You can also find me on Twitter as slizzle466. So just hope you all enjoyed the review. It was a pleasure talking with you, Danny and Concerned Mom.
Yep, really enjoyed talking to you guys about the cards. Yeah, hopefully you, all the viewers, enjoyed the review, and hopefully you can find us on Twitch sometime. But take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. See ya.